The Krivoshlyapoff sisters were the first Siamese twins in the USSR. They lived a record-breakingly long life, which turned out to be difficult. The Krivoshlyapoff sisters, Masha and Dasha, were born on April 4, 1950, in Moscow. Their mother did not even suspect that the pregnancy was going to be problematic. The device for research in obstetrics was first used only in 1958, 8 years after the birth of Masha and Dasha. Ekaterina Krivoshlyapoff was unable to give birth to the girls herself, so doctors performed a cesarean section. When the obstetric team saw who had been born, it was decided not to show the children to their mother. Masha and Dasha were born with 2 heads, 4 arms, and 3 legs. Ekaterina was told that the girls had died of pneumonia. It is believed that the children were later shown to their mother. This caused the woman to have a nervous breakdown, which led to a mental disorder. Because of this, Ekaterina had to undergo long-term treatment in a psychiatric hospital. As for the girl's father, he agreed to transfer responsibility for the children to the state. The sisters kept their father's surname, but they gave a false patronymic. So the girls became Maria Ivanovna and Daria Ivanovna. The Krivoshlyapoff sisters spent the next 40 years of their lives in various boarding schools. For 7 years, they were studied at the USSR Institute of Pediatrics by physiologist Pyotr Anokhin. There are terrible rumors about this period of the twins' lives. Supposedly, the sisters were almost tortured, trying to understand the peculiarities of their body. For example, they pierced one girl with a needle to see if the other would feel it. Or they kept part of one sister's body in ice water to see if the other's temperature would drop. In one of her rare interviews, Maria Krivoshlyapoff recalled, "When we were 3 years old, they specially put us on ice to check if we would get sick in the same way. Those experiments still give me goosebumps." The sisters spent most of their lives wandering around boarding schools, and some of their memories of life are horrifying. In a boarding school for children with musculoskeletal disorders, where the sisters spent 4 years, they first thought about suicide. It was the most terrible test for us. It was there that the thought of suicide came to us for the first time in our lives. The local kids didn't like us. They boycotted us. The boys beat us. How much ridicule, humiliation, and insults we endured. For a bottle of vodka, the boys from the class showed us to the village kids. Sometimes classmates would pour water in our bed and shout, "Look, the freaks have wet themselves." But we would put down some oilcloth and say nothing. One day they set a huge dog on us. After that incident, we began to stutter a lot. Several times the sisters tried to commit suicide, and then they became addicted to alcohol and began to drink heavily. The twins first tried alcohol at the age of 12, when other children at the boarding school treated them to it. At first, one of the sisters, Daria, fell in love with alcohol. She began drinking after meeting her mother. Ekaterina Krivoshlyapoff acknowledged her daughters, but was not happy. This meeting had such a strong influence on the girl that she began to drink almost every day. This was dangerous because when one sister drank, the alcohol instantly reached the brain of the other through the common circulatory system. Soon Maria began to drink too, and there were fewer quarrels over alcohol. Due to alcoholism, the sisters developed cirrhosis of the liver, but continued to drink. When in 1989 they were given a separate apartment, no one could control them anymore. On the night of April 13, 2003, Maria died. In the morning, Daria, who was unable to wake her sister, called an ambulance. As it turned out, Maria died of an acute heart attack, and Daria died 17 hours after her sister as a result of intoxication. At the time of death, the twins were 53 years old.